Gentlemen and ladies, ladies and gents, you know, she likes the boys in the band. She knows when they come to town. Every musician stands after the curtain comes down. In the background, you're going to be hearing Dirty Diana. While we're talking about Dirty Diana, this video, I wanted to focus on something in particular. The thing that I want to focus on in particular is this video right here, talking about the widow's son. Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, ladies and gents, I could gives up about the widow's son. However, not all the rest of these videos, forget these people. This one in particular, which this one and hold on, gotta use my fingers. My screen is moving a little slow because of this program. It's looking for viruses, and so we're gonna pause it for now because, and we're gonna do the automatic removal. I don't have any, as you see, no malicious registry entries, no malicious processes, and you know, no critical area issues. It actually works pretty good. And if you don't know what this software is, no, bad boy. Okay, I didn't tell it to do that. It did that on its own. That video, and we got one more, that the minutes are just about the same, and they still talk about this one here and this one here. These two, and I'm pretty certain this one is too, because it's named the same thing, Mystery of the Widow's Son, The Legend of the Craft. Okay, so these 2, 3 are all the same, but ladies and gentlemen, what I appreciated about the way that particular video was done is that the individuals who did that video gave it everything it needed. He didn't tell you what to believe. He didn't tell you about the rumors. He only told you about the history, and he showed you the documentation, reading directly from there, allowing you to make up your own mind. And when it came to symbolism, because you see Masonic symbolism where people tell you what it means, he only gave you an idea of what it means. Now, why am I talking about the widow's son? Because I get it now. I get it now. I told somebody today, I said, I'm going into court. You guys can't do this. You'll never get away with it. And I know some of you are stubborn and are going to try. And if you do it and you get in trouble, it's on you, because I'm already telling you, you can't do this. You will never get away with it. But I'm going to love for somebody to come my way and tell me, pay attention, y'all. The screaming and the yelling the judges do from the bench, pay attention, y'all. I'm going to love for them to do that to me in the future. Sit up there and try to act like they're doing something. And I'm just gonna, when they're yelling and spewing and spitting and fire and brimstone and sulfur and all that other stuff, I'm just gonna say, excuse me, I was told that was impossible. I did not know that it was possible, and look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, I just did the impossible. I actually took a Mason's goat. When you watch the video, you'll understand what I mean about getting their goat and taking their goat. You see, however, when I get their goat, I'm going to strangle it. I'm going to decapitate it. I'm going to flambazel it. I'm going to burn it to a crisp, resurrect it, and do it all over again for 199 30-degree times. Why? Because I'm tired of the stupid ignorance that goes on. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about the widow's son. There are several different versions of this widow's son. They got this guy that they call Hiram Abiff. Now, let me let you guys know, because I gotta do this. I gotta put my cell phone back where it was. I just moved it so that I can get that signal the way that I've been getting it. That wasn't supposed to happen. Oh, yes, it was. It was supposed to happen. Let's see if I can do this the correct way. Come on. Okay, that's how we're going to do that. All right. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going to the book of, I believe it is 2 Kings. It's probably going to be, 2 Kings. And we're going to get to right about chapter 7 and 8. No, it is not 2 King. How can I be that far off? Yep, it's 1 Kings. Sorry. 2 King, that's what Elijah, and Gehazi, and so on and so forth. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going back to King Solomon, about him being greater than all the other kings in wealth and wisdom. And we're not going to talk about Sheba and its queen. No, we're going to focus on Hiram. Now, y'all know about Hiram, don't y'all? Well, that's what it's talking about right here. Hiram. Okay, the legend of the craft of Hiram. Now, the reason why they call it a legend, because there is no evidence. Okay, Hiram Abiff. Now, you notice how they have a first and last name there? Now, I've never looked up Hiram Abiff, but pay attention to chapter 5 of the book of 1 Kings in the scripture. Wait a minute. What am I doing? Hold on, y'all. Let's minimize you, because I put it on this computer. There we go. This is the 2010 version of the Watchtower Library, but you know what? I could go with the... Sorry, every time I go over one of those boxes, then it switches. So sorry about that. But we're going to, even though I have my physical Bible open, we're going to open up this one. And if not, I'll open up the Bible Discovery software, which Bible Discovery, Bible-discovery.com. And you can download that software for free. It gives you several free versions of the Bible. I've already done so many videos on that. Now, mind you, because I'm talking about the Bible and because I'm using the Watchtower Library, I'm only using the Watchtower Library because it has a version of the Bible on it, so I can show you where I'm reading from. 1 Kings. And we're going to go to chapter number 5. Oh, yeah, we're going right. Okay, now let's help you guys to understand something. Now, it says Hiram, the king of Tyre. Okay, so now you got Hiram Abiff. But Solomon tells Hiram there is no resistor and there is nothing bad happening. And here I am thinking of building a house in the name of Jehovah my God. Now, when you listen to that video, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear the individual mention the name Jehovah all throughout. Why? Because even the Masons know what God's name is. You'll never hear them utter it out loud because they have an issue with that, but they know what his name is. Now, Hiram heard the words of Solomon, and so he answers him and sends him, and it says, will do my delight by giving food to my house servants. Okay, so he says, I'll do all of this for you. You ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to pay me nothing. What'd he say? He just says, and you for your part will carry them, and you for your part will do my delight by giving food to my household. So Solomon just had to make sure that Hiram was a big fat man because he paid for his food. Okay, but look, he kept bringing those conscripted for the force of labor out of all of Israel, and those conscripted for the force of labor and amounted blah 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 from their homes, shifts of 10,000. Okay, to send in Lebanon to bring the wood. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's do ourselves a favor, because we got to do ourselves a favor. It says, and Hiram's builders and the Gabbatites. Okay, hold on one second. Do you see anything about Mr. Abiff? This so-called Mason that Solomon came to have 70,000 burden bearers, and 80,000 cutters in the mountain, besides Solomon's princely deputies who were over the work. 3,300 foremen. Okay, no, they couldn't have had all them people. Of course they could. Most of the people these individuals conscripted for slave labor, those were the slaves that they acquired in their victories over other nations. So of course they could. But hold on, we're not talking about the actual anything. We are talking about, where's this Abiff character? Is he mentioned? Wait, let's do this. We're going to do a search, okay? Because if it's a biblical name, it will say the same thing in this version and all the other versions. So Hiram, Hiram, y'all get that? Make sure, and oh, I can't do it that way. I have to do it from here. Okay, so Hiram, Abiff. Hey, Biff! Come here, Biff! Okay. Hiram, Abiff. We're going to do a search. We got Hiram. We got Hiram, king of Tyre. Craftsman of Tyre. Hiram, Abiff. So this is going to be the craftsman of Tyre. So this is the one they're talking about, gentlemen and ladies. Let's pull this up. They actually had it in a particular watchtower way back in 1959. King Solomon began to build the temple in the 40th year of his reign, and the 4th year, of his reign, and completed it after 7.5 years for its construction. Now, I'm looking for the Hiram, the Temple of Diana at Ephesus, and Taj Mahal of more recent times. Okay, for its construction, he conscripted all the temporary residents of the land, 153,600 of them. Additionally, he drafted 30,000 Israelites who served as relays of 10,000 workers per month out of 3. Okay, well, 10,000 working 1 month out of 3. So every 4 months, they were back to work. While these figures may seem large, just the same thing that I just said, they compare favorably to those given for the time and workers it took to build one of the pyramids of Egypt, the Temple of Diana at Ephesus, and Taj Mahal in more recent times. So these figures are not outlandish, but I'm looking for the young man, the Hiram Abiff, or as they like to call him, Hiram Abiff. Because see, what I'm doing is I'm letting you guys know where they're getting the stuff from. But I just need the part where it talks about him. So let's see if they highlight that section. No, that goes into the temple courtyard. And so I think this is a section just talking about the temple. So I don't want to, oh, and that video is going to talk about the molten sea. And look, you have to listen to that video with a grain of salt. What I'm referring to in this video is so that you guys would understand where their thinking is. So give me a second. It says, in this great building program, King Solomon enlisted the aid of neighboring king Hiram of Tyre, a good friend of his father King David. Among other things, Hiram's workers felled cedars of Lebanon, floated them down to the point of Joppa in wrath. From there, Solomon's workers transported them to the temple site. In payment, Hiram received annually several 100,000 bushels of wheat. Gotta go and talk to my girls. Hold on a second. Sorry, sometimes my phone won't let me answer it. But anyway, now he received those bushels and about 2,000 gallons of fine wine and costly oils, included in the agreement between the kings, Solomon and Hiram, were the services of highly skilled Phoenician workmen. They were from Phoenicia of Tyre. Okay, half Hebrew. Hiram Abiff. He is described as one experienced in the work of gold and in silver and copper and iron and in stones and in timber and wool, and at cutting every sort of engraving and designing every sort of device that may be given to him. Truly a most gifted workman. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we know about him. We can go there. This is in Chronicles. So Chronicles what the scriptures say. So let's go here to 2 Chronicles. Okay, and let's see, because we're going to deal with Hiram Abiff. Okay, not Abiff. They call him Abiff. I don't know where they get the if from, but it says belonging to Hiram Abiff. Let's do this. It's a footnote. Hiram, my father, literally the Hiram, my father, or to Hiram, my father, and Abiff. Compare, and it says 16, the footnote. So let's see what the footnote says here. It's supposed to just hover. Hiram, his father. Okay, all their utensils of Hiram Abiff. Okay, with a V, not a F. Okay, so, or Hiram, his father. Okay, and then it tells us compare the footnote there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't tell us anything else about him. For instance, watch this. Well, let's do this. You see it says Hiram Abiff? This is going to tell us all the scriptures that has that name. So let's do that. 1 Kings 7:13, 1 Kings 7:40, Chronicles 4, blah, 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 and Proverbs. Let's see what Proverbs, let's see what all of them say, so that you guys will get to see it, because they have made books about this young man. Okay? At length, Hiram finished doing all the work that he did for King Solomon with respects to the house of Jehovah. But there is nothing in the scriptures about him, Hiram, and Solomon practicing the magical and mystical arts. Because Solomon would not have been allowed to do that, considering that he was building a temple for this person, Jehovah, and Jehovah hates the mystical arts. And then they say Solomon is the one who designed the temple. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all are wrong. Those of you who think that. Solomon didn't design the temple. The design was already there for Solomon by David, his father. David, his father, is the one who had stocked up all the cedars, all the wood. Okay? Now, let's go on. Cans, shovels, forks, and all their utensils, Hiram Abiff made for King Solomon for the house of Jehovah of polished copper. Then it says, have you beheld men skillful at his work? Before kings they will be stationed, and he will not station himself before commonplace men. It just referred to this individual being the most skillful out of all the Tyranians. Oh, you're a tyrannical individual! That's not where it comes from. It could come from that, I don't know. But let's do this. I'm going to put you on hold while I let you see that Solomon didn't create the plans for the temple. Hold on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I proceeded to look for it and I found it. However, as you can see, 2 hours have gone by since I told you to hold on, because I had a phone call with a very interesting fella. And so we were able to discuss some things. So we're in 1 Chronicles, the 28th chapter, verse 11. I want you to pay attention to where Solomon got the designs for the temple at. See now, for Jehovah himself has chosen you to build a house as a sanctuary. Be courageous and act. This is David speaking to his son Solomon. Okay? And David proceeded to give Solomon, his son, the architectural plan for the porch, and of its houses and storerooms and its roof chambers and its dark inner rooms and the house for the propitiatory cover, even the architectural plan for everything that had come to be with him by inspiration for the courtyards of Jehovah's house, and for all the dining rooms all around, and the treasures of the house of the true God, and for the treasure of the things made holy. However, wrong folder. Let's get rid of you. I don't need you no more. We're going to go here. However, for the Masons, they believe that Solomon, with his wisdom, came up with the design for the temple. Yeah, right. Okay, and so they believed that Solomon gave Hiram Abiff, okay, not Abiff. Sorry, I promise you, if you know what, let's do. Well, no, we have the Bible dictionary, we have this one, but I can't use that anyway. I can't use this one anyway because this is not designed as a research vehicle. So give me one moment, I'll show it to you. All right, we're going to pull up the Bible Discovery software. This because it has several different versions of the Bible already programmed into the software. It will take a moment because I am doing a billion things on my computer again, and so we're going to let that pull up. Now, while that's pulling up, okay, I guess it don't mean what it means. While that's pulling up, let's go back to this one. While that's pulling up, we're going to have to go back twice because what I'm looking for, not that one, because I typed that in. I need the parts about Hiram Abiff. Okay, see? Hiram Abiff. Hiram, his father. Okay? So the Abiff means son of, because there is no such thing as Hiram Abiff because they didn't have two names at that time. These were Tainicians. They were from Tyre. Okay, so they did not have two names. But we're going to look up 1 Kings 7:40 in the Bible dictionary if it pulls up, because I just saw it flash. There it is, but it ain't pulled up yet. Hurry up, Bible dictionary. I'm gonna put you guys on pause. You ain't gotta wait for me. You ain't gotta wait with me. You just gotta wait. Sorry, folks, but I had not loaded up my Bible dictionary, so I have to go into the software that's online. And this is the one pulling up 1 Kings, the 7th chapter, verse 40. Again, you come to my site, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. You go to other sites, they're just going to talk, which is why, again, you see me referring you to people whose videos they document what they're talking about, so that all you have to do is go back and do a little bit of work, little bit of research, because they've already told you where to go. They told you where to go. Oh God, isn't he amazing? Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm doing here, again, this has nothing to do with religion. This has everything to do with the words. Now, you know what I don't see? I don't see the name Hiram Abiff, but I do see now Hiram. It says he also made the pots and shovels. He also made. These are the different translations. Let's make this a little bit bigger for you, if it'll let me. Yeah, it's still pulling up, so I have no movement just yet, but I'm gonna get me some movement in a minute. Yeah, I'm touching the screen, but it ain't doing nothing, so it's a reaction time thing. So hold on one more second, people. Wait, I think we might have it. Okay, they all just say Hiram. Okay. All right, so now we just have Hiram. Hiram Abiff, not Abiff. Abiff with V means Hiram, son of Abiff. So King Hiram was King Hiram Abiff. Okay, out of Tyre. Now King Solomon sent and fetched Hiram out of Tyre. Hiram. That's how it is pronounced. Okay, and we have the name. There is no Abiff. So let's do the one that said Abiff. Hold on. All right, finally Hiram made, no, we're looking for 2nd Chronicles 4:16. So hold on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with 2nd Chronicles 4:16. And as you can see, it's Hiram Abiff. The correct one is Hiram Abiff. Hiram Abiff, not Hiram Abiff. Okay? Nowhere in the scriptures does it say Abiff. So that's the first correction. But again, this is not saying that the folklore, the so-called legends of Hiram Abiff has any foundational facts to it other than mixing some truth with some lies. Yes, did this Hiram know Solomon? Of course he did. Did he give Solomon the plans? Did Solomon give him the plans? Solomon gave him the plans, but Solomon didn't create the plans. But their beliefs are that Solomon created the plans because they go beyond what's actually written in historical facts. First, Solomon was not trying to unite no sons of Cain with the sons of Adam. That's the one thing that everybody needs to make sure of. We've already read where he wanted to build a house, David, and David was told, no, you had blood on your hands, you had war. Solomon didn't have any wars prior to the building of the house. As a matter of fact, he had total peace throughout his kingdom for 40 years. It was only until the end of that 40 years that he started doing all kind of stupid things and started going to war. Okay? But for the better part of his kingdom, there was no war. That's why he was allowed to build the temple in the first place. But again, listening to, that's the wrong one. I was trying to bring this up. And I'm trying to go here. Listening to the audio of this particular video that I pointed you all to, as soon as my screen will let me. And I haven't listened to this one, but I know it's the same thing, okay? But listening to this and seeing their junk that they promote, okay, and why they believe what they believe, I can see how they mixed truth with lies. For instance, Tubal Cain. Does anybody know who Tubal Cain is? I do. Well, don't worry about it. We're going to tell everybody who Tubal Cain is. The first thing we're going to do is we have to go back because we have to pull out the Biblia. Where's my Biblia? All publications. Okay, we go to Genesis. And this works a little bit easier because I don't have to wait for the internet to pull it up. It wasn't supposed to jump. We're going to go here, go to the 4th chapter, gentlemen and ladies. And the reason why we're going to the 4th chapter because Cain, Tubal Cain, is supposed to be a descendant of Cain. According, you see, it says, and Adam had intercourse with his wife Eve, pregnant, and she gave birth to Cain. According to the Book of Enoch, piece of junk, they say that Adam didn't have intercourse with Eve to produce Cain, but one of the angels had intercourse. One of Satan's angels had intercourse with Eve to produce Cain. That they believe Cain was of the divine. What does Cain mean? Something produced. Eve explained she gave birth. Eve explained that is what she had given birth to. It says, I've created a man. Okay? I have produced a man with the aid of Jehovah. Then it says, later she gave birth to Abel, his brother. Doesn't say she had intercourse with Adam at that point, does she? But they say, well, she had intercourse with Adam, and that's Abel is from Adam, Cain is from the divine. Yeah, right. But this is what they believe. I ain't knocking it. It just don't coincide with scripture, so it's a bunch of bull. Well, we go to verse number 17. Afterwards, Cain had intercourse with his wife. According to the people who read this, That means there must have been other people on the planet. You see, where did Cain get his wife from? Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, here's where you get the name Tubal Cain, the grandson of Cain, the son of Lamech. Okay, Lamech is the one who told his wife to hear his voice, that he struck a man for wounding him. Yes, a man for giving him a blow. He killed somebody, just like his father had killed somebody, or his grandfather, sorry. So Cain would have been Tubal Cain's great-grandfather, because Enoch, the Book of Enoch, this is the Enoch they're talking about. What do you mean that's the Enoch they're talking about? Is there another one? Of course there's another Enoch. Ladies and gentlemen, there were 2 Enochs in the Bible. Hold on. I knew somebody when I was in school. See, here's the second one. And Jared lived for 162 years, and then he became father to Enoch. Enoch then lived for blah, 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 and Enoch became the father of Methuselah. This is not the Book of Enoch they're talking about. See? Methuselah. This is not the same Book of Enoch. This is a different Enoch. See, I've always thought this was the Enoch they were talking about, because it says Enoch kept walking with the true God, and he was no more, for Jehovah took him. I thought this was the Enoch they were talking about, and I'm like, there ain't no way in the world he wrote no book. But when I found out that they're claiming that it was the Enoch here, it says, and Cain had intercourse with his wife. Well, where did she come from? We'll talk about that in a minute. And she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. They're saying it's this Enoch who wrote the Book of Enoch, and that the Book of Enoch is a hidden book, that we're supposed to know that dumb information in that book. That is a bunch of shiznick. Okay, here's where Cain got his wife. Ladies and gentlemen, Genesis chapter 1 through 4 is an outline. It only gives us brief details. It doesn't, brief outlines of what took place, no details. But notice this. This is the book of Adam's history. See, now we deal with history in chapter 5. In the day of God creating Adam, he made him in the likeness of God. Male and female, he created them. After that, he blessed them and called their name man. In the day they're being created. Well, let's go to verse number 4. And the days of Adam, after his fathering Seth, came to be 800 years. Meanwhile, in other words, between that and the days, all of his days, he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Adam that he lived amounted to 930 years. People don't get the fact that when Cain slew, slayed, killed, murdered his brother Abel, that he was a grown man. After that, Cain said to Abel, let's go over into the field. So he came over into the field, and Cain proceeded to assault Abel, his brother, and kill him. Cain was a grown man. So I tell people, if you're thinking Adam and Eve only had 2 children, Adam said, hey, Eve, that was good. We did it twice. We had 2 children. I'm 100%. My sperm count is over 150 billion strong. I don't want to do that no more. No, we're going to wait a couple of 100 years before we have another. No, we got to take care of these 2 first, because, we got to pay bills, got to pay the light bill, the gas bill, and you got your career that you want. So I know you don't want to be a stay-home mom. It wasn't like that, people. They had other sons and daughters. It's just we don't get any details about that until we start talking about Adam's, wait for it, history. And we get no names other than Seth. This was his 3rd son, Seth. We don't get to find out about the daughters. Only the fact is, meanwhile, in between that time, say Adam lived for 930 years. So meanwhile, he became father to sons and daughters. It didn't say and after that, it says meanwhile. There's a reason for that. Well, can you look that up in the other versions and see if it says the same thing? Of course I can. Genesis the 5th chapter, verse 4. So let's go to Genesis the 5th chapter, verse 4. The reason why it tells us about Seth is because that's where Noah's line comes from. That's where Methuselah comes from. That's where the other Enoch comes from. That's why it tells us about Seth, because that's the line of descendants. All right, we're moving a little slow, so I'm gonna put y'all on pause, so y'all hold on. If it lets me let y'all hold on. So now, if you'd pay attention, Genesis 5:4 says, after Seth was born, Adam, see, this one says after Seth was born. Notice this one says after Seth was born, Adam lived 800 years and he had other sons and daughters, and he had other sons and daughters. That's because these are both copying from each other. But notice this, the days of Adam after he fathered Seth were 800 years, and he had other sons and daughters, conjunction, change of subject, and he had other sons and daughters. The days of Adam after he became father to Seth were 800 years, and conjunction, junction, what's your function? He had other sons and daughters. So all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. It is not saying after he fathered Seth, he had other sons and daughters, because that would be a misnomer. See, the days of Adam after fathering Seth was 800 years. If he lived to be 930 years, and let's just say after he lived 30 years, he had Cain and Abel. We know it was longer than that, but then that would mean, ladies and gentlemen, that Cain and Abel were not kids. They were not teenagers. They were not in their early 20s. Okay? But let's go on. Got to see some more verses to make sure that it's not talking about. Now, one of them does say after. Where is it? I think it was the King James Version that said after. Yeah. No, not that one. Wait. Is it? Nope, that's the first one. I just saw it. Oh well. It was probably father that I saw. Yeah, after he became father to Seth were 800 years, and he had other sons and daughters. So please understand, the original translation does not say that after he had Seth, he had other sons and daughters, because of course he did, but it says, and he begat sons and daughters. He had other sons and daughters. So when this young man leaves his father's abode, what does he do? He marries his wife. Wait, wrong verse. Got to go up here. After Cain had intercourse with his wife. See, and that's the reference scripture, is Genesis 5:4, that he had other sons and daughters. She became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Then he engaged in building a city, Mason, and called the city's name by the name of his son, Enoch. So this is where the Masons claim they got their start, ladies and gentlemen, because he built cities. So that's where you hear of, wait for it, Tubal Cain and Cain surviving the flood. That's right. That's what they teach. That's what they believe. That's in their legend, that more than Noah and his family survived the flood, that it was Tubal Cain. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. Let's see if we can find any information on Tubal Cain. Let's do this. We're going to copy. Now it says, and Zillah, Godzilla! Anyway, she too gave birth to Tubal Cain, the forger of every tool of copper and iron, and the sister of Tubal Cain was Naamah. Consequently, Lamech, blah, blah, blah. But do we see anything about Tubal Cain after this? No, we don't. What we see is Seth. Also, there was born a son, and he proceeded to call his name Enosh. And Enosh, not Enoch, Enosh at that time was the start, was made on calling on the name of Jehovah. Okay? That started from Enosh. Okay? But however, we're supposed to be looking to see if we see anything about Tubal Cain. Let me see. Let's go. Seth, Enosh. No, look at that. No more Tubal Cain. So we only have Tubal Cain's name being mentioned twice. Let's make sure. We're going to paste and we're going to search. We got to do the Bible. Look at that. Only two. Two references to Tubal Cain. Look at that. Tubal Cain, the very same verse we just read. Only two references. I did not look this up before, but I know that his name is not mentioned that often in the Bible. There are only two mentions of his name, but they said he survived the flood. Ladies and gentlemen, if he survived the flood with Noah and his sons and his stepdaughters, or not his stepdaughters, but his daughter-in-laws, I'm sure there would have been a reference. Somewhere in some scripture, somebody would have referenced it, but nobody did. Okay? But they say it today as if it's fact. That's what... Hold on. Hold on. It's going a little slow. I told y'all I'm doing a lot. That's what the reference to the widow's son. Remember, Eve didn't have a husband when supposedly she had sex with that angel. Okay? She didn't have a son, so she had sex with the angel, so that's one of the versions of the widow's son. Then you have not Tubal Cain, but Hiram Abiff, supposedly the son of the widow, but he can't be the son of the widow because his father was alive. Okay? So the original widow's son is supposed to be Cain. Cain is the one that they worship, ladies and gentlemen. And because of the time period of Genesis, the 6th chapter, it is a strong possibility that Cain was alive when the flood took place. What do we know? Well, Genesis, the 5th chapter, I want you to pay attention. We went to the 6th chapter too early, but I want you to pay attention. It tells us, and Lamech lived. This is a different Lamech. This is the Lamech that was the son of Methuselah, who was Noah's father. It says, and Methuselah lived 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived on for 182 years, not having any children. Then he became father to a son. Well, this doesn't say he didn't have any children. It says, and then he became father to a son. It only highlights one son, but of course, he had other sons and daughters. Watch, let's do that. Meanwhile, he became father to sons and daughters. Okay, we only get to find out about one son, Noah, because he's going to bring us comfort from all our calamity, meaning rest and consolation. This one will bring us comfort from our work and from the pain of our hands resulting from the ground that Jehovah has cursed. Okay? So, it mentioned all of those people, and I want you to pay attention. Verse number 6, I believe. No. I'm looking. It says, and Jehovah said, I'm going to wipe man whom I've created off the surface of the ground, from man to domestic animal to moving animal to flying creature of the heavens, because I do regret I made them. He says he's going to get rid of them, going to wipe them away. Why? Look, it says, so God saw that the earth was ruined. Look, it was ruined because all flesh had ruined its way in the earth. Said it had become filled with violence. He says the end of all flesh has become before me. Because the earth is full of violence, as a result of them, here I am going to bring them to ruin together with the earth. So he said he was going to bring them to ruin, all man. But notice what he says in chapter number 8. And he goes on to give us some detail as to exactly whom he's getting rid of. Hold on. I'm looking, not there. I'm looking for, no. Nope, not looking for that. I'm looking for the one where he explains exactly whom he was getting rid of. Give me a moment. It might be below. Yeah, it's below. So let's go. No. Okay. Nope. I know it's either an 8 or 7, so give me one moment. This is the one I'm looking for. Everything in which the breath of the force of life is active in its nostrils, namely, all that were on dry ground died. Thus he wiped out every existing thing that was on the surface of the ground, from man to beast, to moving animal, the flying creature of the heavens. They were wiped off the earth, and only Noah and those who were with him in the ark kept on surviving. And the waters continued to overwhelm the earth for 150 days. They stayed in the ark for over a year. According to the Tubal-Cain legend, Cain and his great-grandson survived in underground caves. And all the other people who went to those underground caverns and caves, they died. Only Tubal-Cain and Cain survived. How come we don't have any records of that? Well, we do in the Book of Enoch. No, Enoch lived, pay attention, before the flood. He was gone. So how come we don't have any documentation of anybody else surviving the flood? Well, they've been covering that up. They've been preventing us from getting there. Sure they did. You better believe that's what they did, because this is a great conspiracy. Jesse Ventura? Ladies and gentlemen, I had somebody tell me that he believed that there were tunnels under the earth, and that the super elite knew of these tunnels, and that these tunnels, there was no molten lava core of the earth, that the temperature was temperate down there, say, 58 degrees, no problem, and that these tunnels went all throughout the earth, from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth, and they knew how to navigate them. No problem, people. That's what he believed. But I couldn't find any facts to support that. Well, now I got the facts to support it. Gentlemen and ladies, the gentleman who does this video, the one who actually does the narrating, he actually shows you the documents on where these legends and these beliefs come from, because most of it is legend, meaning somebody made it up, somebody elaborated. We didn't have no details on Tubal-Cain, so they gave us a history of Tubal-Cain. Then we talk about the widow's son. Ladies and gentlemen, a widow's son? Why was she a widow? How did she become a widow? Where's the information on that? Well, that's in the book of Tubal-Cain, and in the book of Enoch, and the book of Lamech, and the book of, who else was there in Cain's descendants? Yeah. This is our Freemasonry. This is the junk that they believe. When you watch this video, pay attention to the symbols, the signs, the different words. Because it says the mystery of the widow's son. Pay attention. Mystery. Why? Because nobody knows. It's all made up. It's invented. And people believe it. Do you believe it? As you see, this individual makes videos just about everything. I saw that video yesterday. I streamed it on my cell phone with its low signal, and so it took a while for it to finally play. But I listened to it. I listened to it up until about where I had 10 minutes to go. And I said I would eventually download and listen to it again. I listened to it for informational purposes, not for factual purposes, because none of it was fact. Ladies and gentlemen, all it did was its so-called prophecies that it talked about. Those are the same ones that are already in the Bible. So all it did was mimic what the Bible had already said, like so many so-called other holy books. They all copy the Bible's style. Why? Because they try to make it sound like it's ordained or religious or it's from God. They do that on purpose. Notice how all the so-called religious books, even that stupid book, that dumb book, that ignorant book called the Bible of Satan or the Devil's Book or whatever that stupid book is called. Y'all know the book I'm talking about. I can't think about it right now because I don't read that bull crap. I mean I don't read that junk, y'all. So what I'm trying to tell y'all, you may not appreciate this information, but for those of you who were wondering about the Freemasons and their beliefs and how they are the oldest religion, I serve Satan. You guys remember that? Yes, we can. I serve Satan. Yes, we can. Well, they serve Satan. He is their God. According to them, the great Elohim created Jehovah and Satan, that both Jehovah and Satan are gods, and they're pretty much equal, and they're competing against each other. And Satan and his demons did not like the water, because the earth is 75% water, and that's why the flood, because they didn't like water. So when the water came, they left and they went to Mars. That's right, they went to Mars. And when they went to Mars, they built a pyramid. Ain't that interesting? Ain't got no proof whatsoever, only somebody saying it. And well, if they went to Mars, how can we prove it? Nobody's been to Mars except for Satan and his demons. Well, let me get this. Jehovah lives in the heavens, which is not the universe. It sits above the universe, and he and Satan are supposed to be equal, but Satan goes to Mars, something that is supposedly created, instead of going back to a place similar to heaven, or instead of going all over the universe taking care of several galaxies or some mega galaxy. No, he goes to Mars. Ladies and gentlemen, again, this is so you can understand where that junk is coming from. We're going into court, we're yelling and screaming and saying, no, this is the truth, and you gotta believe it, and this, and you don't understand. They have created their own truth. They've created their own storyline and byline. So those of you who are going to pay attention to what they believe from their historical documents that the individual reads, that's what I'm going to suggest you pay attention to. When he tells you to take it with a little grain of salt, when it comes to the symbolism, how it can have several meanings, then that's what you're supposed to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to answer this and I'm going to let you go. Y'all have a Coke and a smile, and we will talk at another time. Take care.